Hello and welcome to Faithfully Stampin' with Jennifer Helm. I am Jennifer Helm, the Faithful Stamper, and I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. I have for you today a 3D item. I don't do these terribly often, more around the holidays, but a friend of mine demonstrated this beautiful little box, and I decided, since I stumbled across the chocolates in the store, that I was going to give this a shot, and I love it. So my friend Dory Schneider of Stampin' Always with Dory demonstrated this box, and it's a sweet little gift box that contains 6 of the Merci chocolates. So it's a really cute little favor. It will stand up on the table, so it's a pretty presentation. You could use it for showers or any kind of party, really. But it's a great gift idea too, because in addition to the chocolates, if you like, you could add a gift card of your choice. And then it's just a sweet presentation for something with a small gift card in it. We all have our favorite coffee shop. You could always add a gift card to the coffee shop along with your coffee themed box if you like. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to make this. If you're not familiar with the Merci chocolates, they come in a box like this. You can get them at your big box stores like Walmart. Sometimes other places have them as well. I kind of stumbled across them by accident. I've never had them before. My family has been circling all day. They're dying to get in here and try them, and I said, not until I'm done. So I can't personally say how the chocolate is, but I've heard they're very good. And you can get 2 whole favors like this out of 1 box of chocolate. And a great tip is that you can make 2 of these using 1 piece of cardstock, because the base is, you're able to cut 2 from a sheet of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. But let's go ahead and get into the directions and I'll show you how. So we're going to start with a piece of cardstock that is 7 3/4 by 4 inches. And so what I did was I took my sheet of 8.5 by 11, I cut the 11-inch side down to 7 3/4, and then I cut the 8.5 into the 2 4-inch pieces and had that long little 1/2-inch strip left over. And I had another chunk of cardstock as well, so I still have some scrap to use, but I can get 2 of these pieces out of 1 sheet of cardstock. So we're going to bring over my paper trimmer score here for some scoring. And so what we're going to do first, we're going to score the short side of this paper at 3/4 of an inch and 3 1/4 inches, or basically 3/4 from each side. So I'm going to move my cutting blade out of the way. And so 3/4 on this side. You can either move it down and do the 3 1/4 or just flip it, which I find easier, to 3/4 of an inch on this side. But then your 2 channels are at 3/4 of an inch and 3 1/4 of an inch. They'll run the length of your page. Then what we're going to do is we're going to turn the paper sideways, and we're going to score the long side at 2.5 inches and 3 1/4. So this is forming the foundation for our box. So 2.5, 3 1/4. And if I didn't mention, this is pecan pie cardstock. 3 1/4. All right, now I forgot to make a little sticky note for this next step, but what we're going to do, we're just going to slide the paper down a little bit more, and we're going to make 2 score lines here, but I'm pointing this out because you do not want to go all the way across for these. We're just going to score from the top of the paper down to the score line, this long channel, and then from the channel on the bottom down to the edge of the paper. So that's going to be at the 5 3/4 mark, and I do apologize that I forgot to write my little Post-it note. So what I like to do is I like to lift my cutting guard here up once I've got my paper set at 5 3/4, and I move my score blade down, and I can line up the hash marks here on the side with my score line that I've already created. And so I'm just going to press down and push up, and I might come back down a little bit, but I don't like to make a mistake and come down too far. And so then what I'll do is just shift my cutting blade down and do the same thing. Line it up with this long channel, press down and score, maybe go up a little bit more. But there you can see I've got the 2 partial lines, and what I'm going to do with those, I'll show you in just 1 second. So the next thing that I do is I fold all the score lines. I just find it easier to see. It gives me more of a visual to work with. You can use a bone folder for this if you like, but you do not have to. And so your short panel here will be at the bottom, and then you've got your 2 partial score lines here at the top. What you're going to do is you're going to cut on the score line, but only to the perpendicular score line. And then we're going to cut off these 2 tabs at the top. So I'm actually going to flip this over and work from kind of the back of the box. So I'm going to trim on that score line. And then I like to do it from the back because I can get a little bit closer in by cutting this way. And that way it's just more visually pleasing when I flip the box over. Had a piece I didn't want to quit there. All right, so there's the back of my box. This is gonna bug me. Didn't do this once in all the samples I made. There it is. All right, so this is what your paper is going to look like at the moment. And then 2 more tiny little steps here. What we're going to do is we're going to cut the lines on either side of the small box here. This we're going to create the tab so we can fold the front of the box up. And so you're just going to cut straight on the score line, or yep, on the score lines, but only up to this one. And then you're going to taper in and kind of create a little tab. It just takes away a little bit of the cardstock and will make it easier for you to fold the box. And then we're just going to rotate and repeat on the other side of the box. So 2 little snips there up to that score line, and then just taper in. Doesn't have to be perfect. And that way, when I fold my box, I won't have so much cardstock fighting me to make a perfect square. Okay. So what I like to do is I take the box and hold it like this. My panels fold up, and I'm going to flip it over and put it down just like this. And I'm going to bring my tear and tape over. You only need 2 little pieces of tear and tape, and we're going to put them on these tabs. So on this larger panel here, the tabs that are there on the side, and we're going to put it closer to the score line on each side. Took me a minute to figure this out. I did a couple of these backwards when I made my samples. So I wanted to point that out. I know this seems kind of counterintuitive, but you'll see why I'm gonna do this in a minute. I like my little trick of using a clear block with a straight edge to create a nice crisp edge on those pieces. So I'm gonna go ahead and press them down a little bit. I'm gonna peel one off. And what we're gonna do is we're going to fold in our little tab, fold down the one with the tape on, and by putting the tape here on the score line, when I fold over and square my edges, then the tape is closer to the raw edge here, and it seals the box better. If I were to put the tape on the opposite side, good grief, my cutting was a little off there. I'd be able to stick my fingernail under the edge and really kind of pry the box up, and it looks like it's not staying together as well. But by positioning the tape here closer to that score line, when I close the box, it has a good seal. And then you're just going to repeat on the other side. There we go. That's more like it. It should look square like this. I'm actually going to come in and trim. I must have been a little off with my score line, probably because I was talking and distracting myself. Let's see. I'll come back and polish that up a little bit later, but there we go. There's the basis for our box. So that really wasn't complicated, especially if your score lines are in the right place. And now we're going to go ahead and cut our DSP to decorate the box. Now, obviously, you can decorate with whatever scheme you want. I thought our Latte Love set coordinated very well because some of the chocolates are coffee flavored. And so I just thought that kind of went hand in hand. The Latte Love set is an online exclusive. If you haven't checked that out, pop on over to the website. We have some really fun online exclusive pieces there. And you can also check out our clearance rack where we always have some good deals going on. You can also see our kit collection and the whole catalog online if you like. All right, so I have a strip of paper from our Latte Love collection. This is 2¼ inches by 12. And so I'm going to turn it so you can see the whole thing. So just one strip, 2¼ inches wide by 12 inches long, and we're going to take this one strip and decorate the entire box and only have a tiny piece left over. And I'm going to show you here how we do that. So I'm going to bring my paper trimmer back over. This time that scoring blade goes out of the way, and I'm going to use my cutting blade. So here are our cutting measurements. So we're going to have the 12-inch side at the top. So everything's going to be 2¼ by whatever the other measurement is. I never know where to put this so you can see it best. So first of all, we're going to cut a 4¼ inch piece. This is going to be the back of the box. Then we're going to cut a 3½ inch long section, and this will be for inside the box. So on this back panel and tucked inside. That's kind of how I label it so I can tell where I'm putting it. Then a 2¼ inch piece, which this piece will be 2¼ inches square. That's for the front pocket of the box. And then 2 little 1/2 inch strips, and these will be for the side of the box. Now, a little tip I wanted to share with you is that you might want to check the reverse side of your designer series paper if you have a print that might look a little funny up and down. Everything else, it kind of doesn't really matter, especially with this plaid. But if you have a directional print, when you cut those 2¼ by 1/2 inch, it might be running the wrong way. So just check on that. You might want to see if the back coordinates, or in this case, if that's a little stark for you, get a coordinating piece and just cut some matching strips. Okay, and so then we only have, if I can pick it up, this tiny little strip left over that you didn't use. So you can either save it for another project or toss it in the recycle bin. But you've really made good use of your paper. So now we're just going to use your favorite adhesive to put these pieces together on the box. I'm going to use Stamp and Seal. So let me see what I'm going to start with. I'm going to start with a 4¼ inch piece that is for the back of the box. Now, depending on who you want to gift this to, if you'd like to write a little note, instead of using the 2¼ by 4¼ inch piece of designer series paper, swap it out for cardstock. I recommend writing on it before you stick it to the box. Just make your life a little easier. But if you'd like to write a sweet little message on your box, this is the place to do it. Next, I'm going to work on the piece for the inside of the box, which you are going to see on that top portion here. Let's see. So I just slip it down inside and kind of give it a little border before I go pressing it down completely. Then I usually put my hand in, just give it a little press. The 2¼ inch square goes on the front pocket. And you can use whatever adhesive is your favorite for these pieces. Tear and tape, liquid glue, tape runner, it all works. You just need something strong like tear and tape to assemble the box and keep it from falling apart. And then last but not least, we have these 2 little strips. You could very easily leave the sides of the box blank if you like, but if you want to give them a little something, these little strips are great accents. Just as I said, make sure your paper is running in the appropriate direction or coordinates if you can't make that happen. All right, so there is our decorated box. So for this one, I'm going to add just some simple decoration. I'm going to show you some more with sentiments, but I opted to not put a sentiment on this box. So to decorate it, first of all, I'm going to use our little coffee cup, which I pre-stamped and added the little coffee stamp on the inside. So I'm just going to use some dimensionals here to add this to the front of our little treat box. Oop, not the tabletop. All right. I decided to switch up our colors. There is a strip of teal running through there. So that's why I opted for the teal coffee mug for this one, just to mix it up a little bit. And I'm gonna go ahead and add the ribbon at the top. So this is one of our new ribbons. I think it's so cute. It is our natural polka dot trim. It's 3/8 of an inch wide. It's got these cute little polka dots on it. So what I'm gonna do for this is I'm just gonna wrap it around and get an idea of how long I need my piece to be. Little bit of overlap, not too much. And then what I'm gonna do here is take my ribbon, I'm gonna flatten it out a little bit. And very carefully, I'm gonna use my adhesive here. I'm gonna give it some extra here in a second, but I want my ribbon to stick. So it's sticking to my fingers. Let's see, I think I want it about there. Now, before I stick the ends down, to just kind of ensure that it's going to stick, I'm gonna take some of our mini glue dots, and I'm just gonna put one on each end of the ribbon using my take your pick tool and my little pointer. I can lift up the glue dot, put it right down on the edge of the ribbon, and then I'm gonna fold this down and give it a press. I don't wanna pull it too tight because I don't wanna bend the back of the box, but I definitely don't want my ribbon to fall off because that would look a little tacky. So, just gonna press that down, and those glue dots just really help make sure that my ribbon isn't going anywhere. And now, since I have this little seam here, I'm going to create a bow and then cover that seam. This is a little stiffer than some of our ribbons, but it still does make a lovely bow when you don't have fumbly fingers. Let me see if I can do it this way. Nope. I'm right-handed. I should have stuck with what I was doing. Okay. So it is a little trickier to work with just because it really wants to stick and be stiff. But if you wrestle with it a tiny little bit, let's see, here we go. I've got a cute, sassy little polka dot bow. So I'm just gonna snip my edges at an angle like that. Move it out of the way. And then what I like to do is I'm gonna come back to my glue dots, flip my bow over, and I'm gonna add a glue dot to the back of my bow. And for this, just to make sure it doesn't fall off the back of my package, I'm actually gonna do a little bit of overkill. And I'm gonna put a glue dot on the back of each side of the bow loop in the back, just to make sure it's not going anywhere. So once those are in place, I'm gonna go ahead and press it down just like this. Look how cute that is already. Then I'm gonna grab these Merci chocolates. And what I like to do is pair two of the same flavor together and stack them. And then two more flavors. And what I like about these is the flavors are written on this gold portion of the label, so you can actually see at a glance what the flavors are. So this is our coffee themed set, kind of with dark chocolate and coffee. But look how cute these are. And like I said, you can add a little gift card if you wanted. That little bow's trying to get away. But just like that, you're done. So I have some more samples to show you with some different themes. So here's part of our coffee collection. I also created two more. Here I didn't add the bow. I just simply let the coffee cup here on the front do the talking. So you can decorate as simply or as ornate as you want. And then I wanted to show you some different ideas that you can use to fill the box. The Merci chocolates, as I mentioned, you can pick up at Walmart or similar stores. If you happen to have an Aldi near you, they sell these chocolates, the Moser Roth, in different flavors. This is one of my favorite. It's dark chocolate sea salt. And they come in a box of, I think, 5 for just under $2. So I took 2 of these and I put them in the box. They fit as well. Now there's a little bit of wiggle room. I was thinking earlier, and I should have brought one over, you might be able to put a chapstick down in that. If you had a coffee flavored chapstick, or maybe even vanilla, that might be a cute little coffee and a chapstick set. Or As I mentioned, you can get 2 of these from 1 box of the Merci chocolates, and you'll have 4 left over. So I took 2 of them, and I actually just put them down the side. And look, it stabilizes the chocolate and is kind of a cute presentation too. So you have some options as far as what you want to fill your boxes with. And I'm going to show you another one here in just a minute. So there's our coffee sets. I stepped into the man zone for a moment. We have our wonderful Adventurous Sky stamp set and Coordinating Designer Series paper. So here are 2 manly sets. This is great. Father's Day is coming up here in the US in a few weeks, and so this would be great for a father or a grandfather, a friend, anyone you just want to send some encouragement to. You always lift me up. That's a great sentiment. And so here I just added the sentiment stamped and added some embellishment. And then on this one I skipped the embellishment and just added a second layer to kind of accent that. So again, you can decorate as simply as or as ornately as you like. So for these last 2, I know they don't look like they have anything in them. I was trying to experiment with some candy I had on hand. So I put in these 2 boxes 2 squares of the Ghirardelli or Ghirardelli, depending on how you like to pronounce it, candies. You can put them in with the kind of sealed edges at the top, but I like the presentation better when I put them to the side. But I do know that these, they kind of disappear in here. And a friend of mine I was talking to, she suggested, what if you added a tea bag? And so I grabbed something that I had here at the house. So a tea bag and a square of chocolate. And if you have one of these are little packets of honey. This does take a little bit of coordinating, but here I just wanted to show you. I've got my tea bag. There's my square of chocolate, which you can put in anyway because the tea bag is taller. And then your mini honey pack. And it still works. It shows a little bit more, but you can be creative and come up with different combinations to fill your little box with. So I just thought that was a great idea, and I'm so glad she shared that with me. But then there are 2 more, and as I said, be creative. I was thinking perhaps at Christmas time you might find a small Santa that you could put in a box, or the same with Easter bunnies come Easter time. I'm sure you could find something that would work in there. All right, so that is our sweet little Merci chocolate favor and potential gift card box if you like. I really hope you enjoyed learning how to make those. I'm so glad you're here checking out the video. If you haven't already, I would love for you to subscribe to this channel. You can click the notification bell if you'd like to be notified each time a video is posted or uploaded here to the page. And you can always hop on over to Facebook if you're a fan there and find me at The Faithful Stamper. I share more about specials on a frequent basis and run contests and things on that page there if you're interested in joining me in that community. So thank you so much for watching. Take care and happy crafting.